problems, just like we've been doing. You guys have gotten really quite good at number word problems, right? But now I'm going to give you one with a twist, all right? It's a little bit different. All right, it's very similar, but there's a difference with it too. And first, we're going to well, maybe I'll just write the problem first.
With the twist, it sounds like you're gonna get the answer, and then it's gonna add like.
All right, so here's the problem.
Something very complicated.
Is this on here?
Subtract 7.
Yeah. Okay, so write this down as I'm writing. The sum of two numbers is 122. 5 times the smaller is equal to 38 less than 4 times the larger.
Yep, this is definitely with a twist.
Yep.
Is this on our homework?
Yep. We're getting the answer to number
Find the numbers. Okay.
Exact same except you don't get.
All right. So what we have to do is we have to look at the wording of one thing in particular.
The sum of two numbers.
The sum of two numbers is 122. Because all of the word problems that I've given you, the number word problems, you were able to take that first part. Usually it was said, you know, one number is 4 more than another. And that was really easy. One was x and one was x plus 4, right? Now suddenly we have this first sentence and we have to find a way to create our two numbers. We always know our first number is x. First number is always x. First number is always x. All right. What would the second number be in relation to x?
X divided by 2.
Maybe you could do 1x.
X plus y. X plus y.
All right. So let's actually play with this idea of having two different variables for a second, right? If I had two variables, it would be really easy to figure that out, right? I could say x plus y is equal to what? 122, right? You guys agree with me? That's pretty obvious, right? All right, so if we found out that our first number was x, our second number is y, is that right? Is that what we're saying? What does y equal? Right now it's not written.
It equals y.
How would you solve for y? Look at this equation. How would you solve for y?
Well, you would have to insert.
Andrea.
You would have to find a way to insert x.
All right, so that's a good thought, but we don't know what x is. X is x. X is unknown. So there's nothing to insert. So how would we find out Mira?
Would we need another equation?
Okay, if we solve this with systems of equations, yes, but I haven't taught that yet with these guys. So what I'm trying to do is we're really not going to be using two variables. We're trying to set it up. I want my second number to be have the letter x in it as well. But you guys, what you're not looking at is this equation. Solve for y. Because y is the other number. What would y be? If it said y equals, how can I make it say y equals?
It's y equals 0 through 122.
Wait. All right, let me just change this for a second. Station identification. This is we'll look at the clock. Okay, we're fine. So let's say it said x, let's say it said 2 plus y is equal to 122. How would you solve for y? Mira, what would you do? You'd subtract the 2, right? Everybody agree. Everybody, wait a minute. Subtract 2. So that means y is equal to 122 minus 2, which is 120. right? How would you solve for y here? Mira,
You would minus the x.
minus the x, minus the x, minus the x. Look what happens. Suddenly, let me get rid of this bottom part. So suddenly, do you guys see what we're doing? Look at this. Y is equal to what?
122 minus x.
122 minus x. So that means my second equation, or excuse me, my second number, can you see the x on here? I can't tell. Oh yeah, I guess you can. I'll use it. All right, the second number is 122 minus x. That's interesting. That's interesting, right? So when it says the sum of two numbers is something, your first number is x. Your second number is that something. Whatever's left over when you take the total and you subtract that x from it. It makes sense, really, right? If the sum of two numbers is 10, your first number is x, your second number is the total, 10. Whatever's left over when you subtract x from that total. That makes sense, right? Logically, it makes sense. So, the sum of two numbers is 14. What are the two numbers, London? First one is x. No.
14
So,
minus x.
yeah, it would be the total, 14, minus x.
And
Yeah,
then would you just do the equation?
I'm saying now we can leave this behind. I just sort of proved to you that the y would just be the total minus the x,
And then
right?
you would do 5
So I'm thinking of it less in terms of x and y, in terms of the first number is x, the second number is the total minus that x, whatever's left over. Does that make sense? So, London again, sum of two numbers is 50. The first number is x, second number is the total, 50
Minus x.
minus x, right? Okay, Michael, sum of two numbers is 42. The first number is, second number is,
42 minus x.
exactly. Okay, Anna, sum of two numbers is 144.
X and 144 minus x.
Right, and you know what people do is they eventually forget this and they go x and x minus 144.
No.
That does not work, right? You've got to think it's the it's whatever's left over when you take the total and subtract the x from it. That makes sense.
But
Right.
then, which one's smaller?
Ah, that is a great
It's
question.
the x, right?
No.
Well, let's see. Let's think about it. Let's say it worked out. Let's say we solved this thing and we said x was 1. The other number would be 121, right? Ah, but wait a minute. Let's say we solved it and we got x is equal to 120. This number would be 2. So which one's smaller? We don't know, right? We don't know until we solve it. So, in my opinion, just make the first one smaller, right? It doesn't matter. You can make either one smaller and it will work out. You'll just be solving for the other one when you do that, you know what I mean? And then you'll figure it out. But it doesn't matter. Makes no difference because we don't know which one it's going to be. So we can make either one the smaller. But you've got to make clear, you know, let's just say I'm going to make this one smaller. So that one is smaller. So I'm just writing that down. So now suddenly, I'll use my black again. The sum of two numbers is 122. 5 times the smaller. How would I write that? 5x. Okay. 5 times the smaller is equal to, equals, 38 less than. Where do I put that? What? To the right. So it's minus 38, right? Off to the right. What do I put in this blank spot? 4 times the larger. How do I write that?
4, then in parentheses 122 minus x.
122 minus x. Beautiful. All right, so suddenly I'll simplify. We've got 5x is equal to 488. Am I right?
Yeah.
488 minus 4x minus 38. Okay, what would I do now? I would add the 4x because I don't like my x's on both sides of the equal sign, right?
Well, when you subtract the x. Oh, no, because it's minus.
Because it's minus, so I've got to do the opposite. I've got to say add 4x, add 4x. So suddenly I have 9x. Now can I simplify the right side?
Yeah.
488 minus 38.
450.
Minus 38, it would be 450, right?
Divide by 9.
So 450, divide by 9. Divide by 9. I happen to know 9
Oh, that'd
goes
be 50. 50.
right? So 9 goes into 45 5 times. 5 plus a 0 is 50. So x is equal to 50. Now, am I done?
No.
No, it says find the numbers, right? Plus, it's a word problem, so I have to answer my question in a sentence, right? So my first number, my smaller number is 50. And then my other number is 122 minus 50, so I'm going to subtract 50. And 5 from, what? 72. So the numbers are
50 and 72.
50 and 72, right? And they should add up to 122, and they do, 122. Good job. Make sense?
Yep.
The sum of two numbers is 500. What are Cassie? What are they?
X and 500.
Great. The sum of two numbers, Ben, are 1,225.
1,225 minus x.
And the first one is
Y.
x.
No, x.
Yeah. X and what? Yeah. You had it. I just gave you a hard one, so you used that hard number first, right? That's fine. Good. So you guys get it, right? Gideon, sum of two numbers is 2.
Wow, Gary. X and x minus 2.
No!
2 minus x!
Right. That's what happens. That's what
Because it's
happens.
so simple,
That's
Gary.
very
I can't work
common.
with simple stuff.
Very common, that kind of thing. So just remember that. So you may see it as the sum, you guys, you may see it written differently. You might see the sum of Mira and Andrea's ages is 43. That's the same thing. X and 43 minus x. Okay? All right, that's
Like,
it.
rate,
Thank you,
subscribe!
We're done. So the homework, I'm going to pass that right now.
Like, rate, subscribe.
And there you go.
Forget about the rating.
There you go.
Wow.
There you go. Oh, and I didn't stop.